for this setup on gold this morning, let's go over the narrative. I'm on the weekly chart, and as you can see right now, we're coming off of this monthly external high and retracing back into a weekly internal imbalance here. So this was an external to internal setup, and I want to break down how I got my trade in this morning shortly after 8:30 news. So let's drop down to the 4-hour. So when I came to the market this morning, I noticed that we bounced from the weekly imbalance here, and the first thing I saw was this bullish 4-hour imbalance. And so when I saw that the imbalance was being respected by this candle, the first thing I really wanted to look for was a target. If price was to complete this internal to external 4-hour setup, where could price go? So obviously the first place is this swing high, as that would be your external liquidity. But if it kept going higher, where else could it go? Another target was this swing high here. This swing high recently reached into this 4-hour imbalance, so the liquidity sits above this high, but I wasn't quite sure if there was something else in this range that price could go for. So I went down to the 1-hour, and I was basically looking for a potential pocket of liquidity here, another area that price may try to reach for. And the only one I saw on the 1-hour was this fresh imbalance that sits up here. I'll draw that out. But because that was a pretty high up in the range, I wasn't sure if we would get up there. So I wanted to come back into this area and look on the 15-minute to see if there was anything left behind that price could reach for on its way back up. Here on the 15-minute, you can see that's exactly what we had here. So I marked out this 15-minute imbalance since it had not been reached into yet. And if you look here, we actually had two. This imbalance was reached into by this swing high. This is the high that went into that 4-hour imbalance. But this one was left open. So this became my target for a potential buy if price was to continue going higher. So I'll draw that. So now that I had my target for the trade, the only other thing to do was to get into the market. And I actually got in shortly after 8:30 news. So let's go over that. If I hit play on replay, we'll go to 8:30. And right here, I actually got in on the 5-minute. So we'll zoom in, take a look at this entry. All right. So on the 5-minute chart, I actually came to the market at around 8:35. I saw price take out this swing low right before news and then shifting higher, giving me a bullish breaker. So I took a market buy right on that breaker. My target was inside of that 15-minute imbalance, and my stop loss went right below 820's low. And I'll let that play out. Right after price hit that level, I closed my trade. I'll put that on the screen, and I'll also show you the replay.